Buddhism, the path to inner peace. Hello, today I want to share something important with you. Many of us may have heard of Buddhism, but there may still be some misunderstandings. Some people think Buddhism is something mysterious or even superstitious. But the truth is, Buddhism is very practical and closely connected to our daily lives. We can live in this world, interact with everything around us, but Buddhism helps us see life with greater clarity, helping our hearts become calm and peaceful. Buddhism is not a religion that asks you to renounce the world. It's not about a life of asceticism or detachment from the world. Buddhism teaches us to live responsibly with ourselves and others, helping us understand that every action, word, and thought we have impacts our present and future life. Buddhism, not superstition, but a real path to living authentically. You might hear some people say that Buddhism is superstition, that we just need to pray, worship, and everything will get better. But the truth is not like that. Buddhism is a path of awareness, understanding, and right action. The Buddha didn't teach us to believe in something mystical. He taught us to see the truth about life, about suffering, and how we can overcome that suffering. Buddhism teaches us about cause and effect, about how everything we do, whether big or small, affects our future. But cause and effect isn't about punishment or reward from some higher power. Cause and effect is simply a natural law. What you sow, you will reap. When you plant good seeds, you will reap sweet fruit. When you plant bad seeds, you will face bitter consequences. Suffering, an inevitable part of life. One thing that Buddhism teaches us is, suffering is an inseparable part of life. When you realize this, you no longer feel helpless or lost when facing difficulties. Everyone has to deal with suffering, whether in work, relationships, or health. Buddhism doesn't say you need to abandon life or avoid it, but teaches you how to face that suffering calmly. You've probably felt helpless when facing hardships in life. But when you realize that suffering is simply a part of life, you will no longer feel overwhelmed. You'll understand that rather than avoiding it, you should accept it and learn how to overcome it. Buddhism teaches us how to handle our emotions. In life, our emotions can sometimes be hard to control. When you feel angry, anxious, or fearful, you may feel swept up in these emotions to the point that you can't control your actions. Buddhism teaches us something very simple. When you recognize your emotions, you will be able to manage them. Buddhism doesn't ask you to suppress your emotions, but it teaches you how to understand and face them. When you know how to deal with your emotions properly, they no longer control your life. Instead of getting angry, you can calm yourself. Instead of worrying, you can find peace in your heart. Mindfulness, the art of living in the present moment. One of the key practices Buddhism teaches us is mindfulness. This is the practice of being fully present in every moment of life, rather than letting your mind wander to the past or worry about the future. When you live in the present, you experience a sense of calm and inner peace. Mindfulness isn't just a meditation technique, but a way of living. When you eat, eat mindfully. When you work, work mindfully. When you speak to others, listen carefully and pay attention to their words and feelings. When you practice mindfulness, you will find that life becomes lighter, and you will no longer feel burdened by endless worries. Cause and effect. Your actions have consequences. As I mentioned, cause and effect isn't about punishment or rewards from a higher power. Cause and effect is simply a natural principle. What you sow, you will reap. If you plant good seeds, you will reap good fruit. If you plant bad seeds, you will face bad consequences. Therefore, every day we have the opportunity to create good karma for ourselves through our actions. You don't need to look for good karma somewhere far away. It starts with the small actions you take every day. A kind word, a helpful gesture, or simply a smile can be the good seeds you plant. Buddhism, the path to true peace and happiness. Buddhism isn't a superstitious belief system. It's a path of positive living. It doesn't ask you to renounce this world or live a life of suffering. Rather, it teaches you how to live a meaningful, responsible life and find inner peace. Happiness isn't something distant. It's found within us. When you practice the teachings of Buddhism, you'll realize that true happiness comes from understanding, mindfulness, and compassion toward yourself and others. Live with wisdom, live with compassion, and live with patience. When you do this, you will find that life becomes easier, more peaceful, and you won't feel stressed or anxious. Always remember that Buddhism is not about avoiding life. It's about living life fully and mindfully. Finally, I'd like to leave you with this message. Buddhism is not something distant or hard to understand. It is simply a path of understanding, love, and compassion. When we live mindfully, act kindly, and face difficulties with patience, we will find peace in our hearts. Remember, happiness is not a destination, but a journey. And on that journey, Buddhism will be your companion, helping you realize that true peace comes from within. Don't fear or doubt. Just take a step forward with awareness and an open heart. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you feel that these words resonate with you, please like and share with your loved ones. Together we can create a more peaceful and harmonious world. I wish you always find peace in every moment of life. Namo Amitabha Buddha.